Live from the Heartland Mama Studios, this is the Heartland Mamas Podcast. I'm your host, Heidi Henry. The Heartland Mamas Podcast is found on all podcast platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and proudly part of the Demcast USA network. As of today, you have just 304 days to get Democrats elected up and down the ticket. And since today is the third anniversary of January 6th, I hope you're doing all you can, everything you can, to prevent the spread of fascism in the United States. I couldn't get over the fact, living in northern Illinois, that we had a lovely blanket of snow, 5 inches of snow, kind of unexpectedly, on this 12th day of Christmas, which is, in my Christian denomination, a high holy day because it's the 12th day of Christmas. It's the Epiphany, where we commemorate the time that the three wise men met the baby Jesus. And we celebrate, and we usually celebrate with a family meal. We take down and pack up all of our Christmas decorations, and it's a time of celebration. But I have to tell you, 3 years ago, I had to work part of that day. I was out in the barn, and my husband called me and said, "You need to come in here and see this." And I said, "Well, as soon as I get done, I'll wrap up and come on in." I I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I knew it was our capital, our people's house, our place, uh, the place that we have vaunted and celebrated all of my lifetime, respected, revered, hope on the hill, the gleaming beacon. And there it was being desecrated, and the people trying to protect it, the precious few that were there, the Capitol Police, the only people that Nancy Pelosi could deploy, were there doing the best they could. But in real time, we were watching them get bludgeoned and battered and beaten. We were watching them destroy our capital, our federal Capitol building. And we know that they were screaming obscene things, horrible things, everything from cuss words to wanting to murder the vice president, Nancy Pelosi. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Of course, because I had been at work, I didn't see how it started, how Trump sent the mob down there, how he stirred them up and got them going. And watching that unfold after the horrible uh, combative election we had in 2020, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. The peaceful transfer of power was denied to our country. It wasn't peaceful. We nearly lost our country that day. And the juxtaposition of that with this being a high holy day, a day of reverence for me, for my family, for my denomination, the respect that we usually give this date, once again shows that none of these people are really Christian, because they would understand the significance of January 6th and the significance of time spent with family and in memorandum of the just past Christmas tide. And I just can't wrap my head around the fact that they keep going back to the fact that they're Christian, when they're not. And I had this terrible vision this morning as I was out doing morning chores in the farm, and of this becoming a date that's revered, and having the guy with the horns, his statue, put up somewhere in Washington one day if we don't win this election next November. Trump has told us what he plans to do. He will become the dictator on day one. He's told you that. He has told you that. It's not just one day of dictatorship. He will become the dictator on day one. And people are going to get killed. We will have World War III and probably end civilization as we know it, because people are not going to agree to be murdered in the streets because Donald Trump is still having a temper tantrum because he doesn't like to lose. Loser. Dear God. And the fact that the person I'm running against, Jed Davis, was a special guest of Mike Flynn, General Michael Flynn, the architect of the military side of January 6th. He was ready to step in and declare martial law. Once Trump declared martial law, Flynn was ready to come in and take over the military. And my opponent for next November 5th was a special guest of his just last fall. locally at the Fox River Lutheran Church. And I, I am still trying to wrap my head around the significance of that I'm running against someone who embraced January 6th 3 years ago as something wonderful instead of something so utterly appalling that anyone who sympathizes with it should be suspect. This is our country we're talking about. And people are so brainwashed and so ready to accept the worst in others just because of how we vote and how we think and how we feel. When they don't even know us, they certainly don't know me. And they don't understand what makes us up and what makes us work for the people of the United States, for the people in our community, for the people of the world. So today is a day of reflection, and I look at this and I'm still horrified. I'm horrified that we're still considering electing Donald Trump and that at least a third of the country thinks it's a good idea. And anyone who's voted Republican because that's what they do, is thinking, well, if he gets the nomination, good enough for me. No, it is not good enough for you. It is not good enough for this country. It is not good enough for any person walking this earth to accept this person as a leader of anything. Now, I don't care if he ever goes to prison. I feel really sorry for him because that's really screwed up thinking that you can't lose. Oh, God, honey. Loss is part of it. And I'm really sorry for Donald Trump that he's had a horrible childhood and his parents neglected him. I'm really sorry for that. But his own kids are probably going through that as well because he sure didn't take care of them. Couldn't sleep with the same woman more than, I don't know, how many divorces? 3 divorces? I don't know. I just don't get it. And the thing is that Trump, who got married in the Episcopal Church, which I'm a member of, would choose a day that Episcopalians consider to be a high holy day to try to overthrow the government. It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind. Anyway, I just wanted to come and just kind of rant today. There's really no purpose except that I'm saying what we're all feeling. What the hell, people? Why are you supporting him? If this was your neighbor, me running for office, if this was a sibling of yours, a parent, a child, you'd run the other way. If they acted like Trump did, if they had 91 indictments, you'd say, you know what, you go your own way from here on out because you're not worthy, right? You're just too much trouble. You're too much drama. So anyway, from the edge of the Great Red Divide, this is Heidi Henry, and this has been the Heartland Mamas podcast. I'll see you tomorrow.